Another big day in news, and to chat about what's circulating on the news front this morning, I thought we'd have a chat with New South Wales Liberal Senator Holly Hughes, who's been kind enough to spare some time on a Sunday morning. It wouldn't be busy at your place on a Sunday morning, would it, Holly?
No, because I'm off to Launceston in about 10 minutes for a hearing tomorrow.
Right. Oh, dear.
Just a little hectic if you hear me in the background still trying to pack.
Yeah, right, okay. I've got it. Okay, this segment will be 60 seconds. Okay, you ready?
Oh, don't worry. I can make everybody wait. They'll wait for me.
YouGov surveyed 2,297 people across the country between December 27 and January the 10th on a wide range of issues. This is for News Corp. 46% are keen for a republic. 35% believe our National Day of Celebration should be shifted from January 26 out of respect for Indigenous Australians. 59% said the flag should stay the same, but only 41% of respondents voted for Advance Australia Fair out of the list of possible national anthems. I hate Advance Australia Fair. But what does that tell us, do you think, Senator?
Look, I think it means Australians at the moment are really not focused on significant amount of change. I don't think we're looking at something that's saying Australians want to change Australia Day. I noticed in the article there was an Indigenous leader who said we started celebrating in 1994. Now, I'm assuming that's a typo, giving them the credit, some credit there or benefit of the doubt, because we certainly started experiencing Australia Day long before 1994. In fact, I remember the bicentennial giving away some age that was quite a big day on January 26th. So it's something that Australians aren't really focused on wanting to change. They're not really wanting to change the flag. They're quite happy with our mode of government. They're certainly not advocating for a big change. And I think that's probably reflective of there's other things going on in people's lives at the moment. Just a little bit. So we're not going to see a big push for societal change until we have a full recovery from COVID.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm not convinced Australians are going to do it. I think they say something in these surveys. And I honestly can't see the push for the Republic coming. I mean, people say after Queen Elizabeth goes, but Kate and Will are so popular.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will look past Charles. Even though we may have King Charles for a while, I think people will look past it.
That's interesting. You forget about when William might take the throne. I think we all have doubts about Charles's fit for the role, but it won't be forever. It will be a short time, and then all of a sudden William will step up, and I think the world has a great deal of faith in both Kate and Will. That's interesting.
They're fantastic, but I think also what's been interesting, the royal family's obviously going through a very difficult time with Prince Andrew at the moment, and there's quite a bit of commentary around him.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed in a lot of it, people who've worked at the palace that are speaking out are all saying how wonderful Charles was, how kind he was, how great he was to work for and how efficient he was. So I think we might start to see a little bit of a mind shift even over Charles now that he's going to start to come out on his own.
Yeah. Now, the Premier of New South Wales is coming out at 10 with the plan of how kids are going to return safely to the classroom, but already the promise is for 6 million RA tests to be delivered to schools by Australia Day. Every staff member and student will be asked to do a RA test twice a week for the first 4 weeks of term. Families won't need to upload their test results. There's a little bit of personal responsibility in that, and I think that's just about fine. What about you?
Yep, hip, hip, hooray. Get them back to school. They've got to go back to school. It is so important, not only for their education, but for their socialisation, their mental health, and quite frankly, for a lot of parents' mental health. They've got to, kids have got to go back. They can't continue being homeschooled. We have to stop living in fear. I think we discussed last week. It's a moot point for my senior students because they're at an incredibly high vaccination rate. In fact, my two who are over 12 are now just weeks away from being eligible for their booster.
Right.
So this is where most kids are up to. And I actually heard you yesterday, and happy birthday to the twins for yesterday. But, yours under 11 aren't vaccinated yet, not because you're not going to get it done, because, you quite frankly haven't had time yet.
Right.
And these kids, my 11-year-old's the same, but these kids don't have the protein in their body that actually the Omicron needs to permeate. Correct. So we know they don't get as sick. We know they're not seeing hospitalisation unless they have significant underlying health conditions.
Yes.
So if you've got a perfectly healthy under 11-year-old, this is a moot point. This is ridiculous. Like the fear-mongering, and of course the unions, you're spot on with the unions. I mean, it's coming into an election where you've got a Conservative government in New South Wales and a Conservative federal government. I mean, of course the unions are going to kick up.
They've got to step up and play their role for the Labor Party.
Well, what have they been doing for the past 2 years if they can't get themselves ready? The teachers have had plenty of time to get themselves vaccinated.
Yep.
So if they're objecting on some ideological grounds, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Yep, I'm with you. Now, finally, the Premier of WA, Mark McGowan. He's a one-trick pony, this bloke. He thinks that if he just keeps his borders closed to the rest of the world, to the rest of Australia, it will be fine. But if he's waiting for 90% of his population to be triple vaxxed, it gets him into the colder months of the year. And as Nick Coatsworth said, the former Deputy CMO, said yesterday, he's going to have 2 viral loads to cope with, a COVID viral load and a flu viral load that the people in WA won't be immune from.
No, and that's the other thing. I mean, I was talking to someone last night who outrageously had a cold. I mean, colds still exist.
Did they?
People are still going to get the flu. They've had a RAT test and a PCR test over a number of days, a couple of them, all negative.
Yeah.
So they've got a cold. That's it.
Yeah.
Got a cold. WA, here's a disgrace. And I mean, $450+ million of federal taxpayer dollars have been given to the WA government to get them ready. They have zero COVID, yet they have ramping and tents out the front of their hospitals without a COVID case. He won't reopen because he knows their health system won't cope.
Yep.
Now, the other side of the coin to this is he has no opposition. There's like 2 Liberals or something in the state government.
Yes.
Everyone should remember, elections have consequences. This guy is basically the emperor, or as you know, if you live over in WA, the state daddy, which is just icky on every level.
Yeah.
But, he's got no opposition. He can bring in anything he wants. He can legislate anything he wants. He could even improve the health system had he wanted to, had he been capable of. People need to remember, this guy was born in Newcastle, educated in Queensland, and now he's banning everyone coming over. Maybe he just doesn't want to see his in-laws. I don't know. But it's out of control. Out of control.
You're right, he's out of control. And the other thing is, as I said...
They have consequences.
Yeah,
if you don't want... Albo's backing it. If you don't want us to be locked down, and you live in WA, well, actually, quite frankly, anywhere, but Albo is backing him. So
I know.
that gives us an insight. Albo would lock us down in a heartbeat.
Yes.
He would split us all off from each other. So
Yep.
if you don't want to get locked down again, you don't want to be separated from your family, your loved ones, your mates. You don't want to be separated from being able to do your job. I haven't been to Tasmania. I can't tell you how long because we haven't been allowed to go. And I'm off today. Can't wait. I mean, I was sitting in a hotel hearing room, but, it's still nice to get out. But, if you want to be locked up, vote Labor. You don't want to be locked up, don't vote for them at any level because this is obviously what they want to do.
Yeah, and this has been the thread through the Labor premiers and chief ministers all throughout the pandemic. We'll go the easy route, just lock down. We'll worry about the economy next year.
Freedom. They hate personal freedom. They don't like small business. They don't want you to have any sort of... I was talking to one of them and said, seriously, are you guys not happy until we're a completely government-run state? Because there will be no small businesses left if you guys keep going the way you're going.
Yeah. And WA keeps saying, we get plenty of revenue. Look at the budget, that's fantastic. Yes, from iron ore, but talk to some of the tourism businesses in the Margaret River who've just had to pack up. And I've spoken to many of them on my TV program. They are filthy about what has just been decided.
But I feel sorry for these West Australians who have done what they were asked. They were given a date, go out and get your vaccine. Here's the date, February 5th, it's going to open up. People have flights booked to go. And they're not, Qantas is cancelling flights. Perth looks like it's going to lose its direct London flight.
Yep.
These are consequences.
Yep.
And I think that too long Australians quite often don't think their vote has a real consequence. And I think what we can see in WA is that it does. This can impact everybody's life.
Safe flight. Enjoy Tassie.
I shall. I will speak to you soon.
We'll do. Thank you very much for your time, Holly.